And our next rule for exponents is the product rule. So product, what math operation does product connect to? Does anybody remember? Product. What does product mean? Like there's some different product quotient.
Multiplication.
Exactly. Product is when we are multiplying powers. Okay. And as a general rule of thumb for product rule, okay, this is general speaking, okay, we're going to multiply the numbers and add the exponents. Okay, and you'll see what I mean in a second, what this looks like. But as a general rule of thumb, we're going to multiply the numbers and add the exponents. So these are easy, then we're going to make this a little bit more challenging. So let's start with a super easy example, number 1. X to the 4th times x to the 9th. So as a rule of thumb, we multiply the numbers. There's no numbers, there's just letters, okay? And add the exponents. So when we add our exponents, we get x to the 13th. Easy as that. Add those numbers. We can tell it's product rule because there's a times sign in the middle. Okay. Step up the rigor a little bit. Let's say we have 2y to the 4th times 6y to the negative 2nd. Multiply the numbers, add the exponents. So multiply the numbers. We have numbers this time. What's 2 times 6? 12. Multiply the numbers. Add the exponents. So 4 plus negative 2. That's 4 minus 2. So y squared. That's a good example where we're multiplying the numbers to get 12, adding the exponents to get 2. And again, product rule, give a time sign in the middle. Another one, 4x cubed y squared times 3x to the negative 2nd y to the 5th. Okay, we're amping up the rigor one more time here. We have x, y's, and numbers here. Okay, but just like when we're combining like terms, we can only associate things that are the same letter with each other. So multiply the numbers. We have 4 and 3. That gets 12 again. Put x's with x's. We have 3 and 2. When you add those together, we get x to the 1st, or just x. And we compare y's with y's. We have 2 here. We have 5 more. That gives us 7 total y's. Okay? Any questions on the first 3 examples, friends? Splendid. We're going to go over 2 more, and then you guys have a practice on Schoology. Oh, man. Okay. So we're on example 4. Oops, I didn't mean to parentheses. 7x to the 3rd, y to the 3rd, z to the 4th, times 3y to the negative 3rd, z to the 14th. Okay, so this one's a little bit trickier because this one has an x, this one doesn't have an x. We still have lots of different letters, and we have numbers. So 7 and 3, we multiply the numbers. So 7 times 3 is 21. X doesn't have a friend to combine with, but we don't lose the x. The x still stays. Technically, this would be x to the 0 since it's not written. It's divisible. And 3 plus 0 is 3. That's why it just floats and it stays as is. I've got 3 plus negative 3. So what happens to 3 plus negative 3? Well, that turns into y to the 0, because 3 minus 3 is 0. Z to the 4th, z to the 14th. We add those numbers to get z to the 18th. Now, this can be simplified a little further because I see that I have a y to the 0. The y's actually cancel out. So we're left with, as a final answer, 21x cubed, z to the 18th. Questions? All right, last one we're going to go over. All right. So again, multiply numbers, add the exponents. So I see 16, but I don't see another number here. There is a number here, but we just don't write it. It's a 1. If you never have a coefficient, it really has a coefficient of 1. So we multiply 16 by 1. We get 16. X to the 4th, x to the 5th. When we put those together, we have 9 total x's. Y doesn't have a friend over here, so it's technically y to the 0. If we don't write it, it's y to 0. Negative 2 plus 0 is negative 2. That's why it just travels. Okay. And we got z to the 6th. We have no z's over here, so we got z to the 0. just like we had y to the 0 because there's no y. So 0 plus 6 is z to the 6th. That's why it just flips. It's really important to understand this concept right here where we have something we don't write when we get to our next week's lesson. So I just want to instill it in your head now. Okay, so we have our final answer. Nothing goes away because we don't have any 0 exponents. We have exponents with integers or numbers. Okay,